Lancaster Woodturners Coffee Hour, and it is 10 o'clock. Uh, August the 14th, 2025, number 267, I think. I have trouble keeping track of the numbers. And I noted somebody in the earlier chat was talking about Wood Turning magazine from England, number 300 and some odd or 400 and some odd. It's like, it's just like turning multiples, you turn one and you turn another. It just keeps all piling up. Um, my name's John Kelsey. I'll be your moderator as usual this morning. If anybody's coming in here from YouTube who stumbled into us, I'll have my email on the screen. If you email me, I can add you to our invite list. This is a free event sponsored every week by Lancaster area Woodturners in Lancaster, PA. We know full well that if you come on here and like what you see and join us and hang around for a while, you'll probably join our club. And if you don't, it's fine too. We will enjoy whatever you show us, no matter what. And that's what we're going to do today, is look at work after we have club news. I don't have any, but Ziegler's on here, I think. Ziegler, what's up with Lancaster Club this next couple of weeks?
Well, we're going to have Trent Bosch do interactive remote demo at our meeting on September 2nd for members. And he's going to demonstrate hollowing.
Will that be using his own apparatus?
I would imagine.
I would think so. And he sells that apparatus, right? So
yeah, he does.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that going to be a hybrid meeting or an IRD? What is it?
It's an IRD. Yeah.
He offers an IRD with his apparatus that is basically promoting it, and then he has one called Hollowing for Everybody using common shop tools. And that's the demo we signed up for, the Hollowing for Everybody. It does not, I'm sure he'll introduce his mechanism, but that's not going to be part of the demo.
Perfect. I love to hear that.
Yeah, Barry, and thanks to Barry, because Barry reached out to Trent to help set this up. So thank you again, Barry.
And how about open shop? We just had an open shop, right?
We just had an open shop, and then our next open shop in September is the second Saturday. That'll be the 13th. And then a reminder, there is the Lancaster Music Fest at Buchanan Park, and we will have David Lewis is a relatively new member. He lives across the park. He has volunteered his Jet 122021 lathe, I think it is. So he and I will take that across the street. He lives across the street from the park. Set that up. We only have, besides Dave and myself, one other volunteer to turn. So if any other members are nearby Buchanan Park on Saturday the 6th between 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock, we'd love to have you come and turn some tops or something small that, the kids that are there can see and enjoy.
All right. And the open shop, what kind of attendance are you getting for open shop, and how are those things going now?
We had pretty good attendance this past week. I see Curtis is online here. Curtis was working with Doug this past week. Barry was working with a few folks. So turnout is decent. And we didn't do any specific safety demonstrations, if you will, but by virtue of having, I will call our experienced turners working with the newer turners, that is part and parcel of kind of a safety session anyhow. But we will try to get some more formal safety sessions in for the newer turners, or anybody that wants an update on any aspect of turning or using the bandsaw, for example. The bandsaw is probably the most dangerous thing in our shop. And so anyhow, I think we're moving in the right direction.
Real good. What I like about the club is it has that's a real only event. There's no video, there's no hybrid, there's no online at the monthly open shop. And then the monthly club meeting is a hybrid event versus there's people in the room and there's people on Zoom who are on the screen. And our principle has always been, everybody has to be able to see and be seen and hear and be heard. And we've achieved that with our tech setup. Guys on Zoom can ask questions and see the work, and just the same as people in the room most of the time anyway. The tech works pretty good. And then we have this, which is a video only session. There's no real world to it except each of us in our own spaces. So that's a pretty good spectrum of events for a little club in Lancaster, PA.
I will just add, I think we've said this, but I think we're now up to 8 lathes. They're all functional. Um, we've, thanks to Jim Barr, primarily, he has helped really set the shop tools up really nicely. We have an inventory of everything we have and of the few things that we need. This afternoon, I'm hoping I can secure what I'll call a tub of Nova faceplates and jaws for $65,
Ugh.
about an hour north of here. So I'm working with some dude from Facebook. Hopefully we'll have some more jaws because we are short on some jaws. Sometimes people need, the same size jaws at multiple lathes, and we don't always have them. So hopefully we can add that to our inventory after today. We'll see.
You guys are going to end up running the Central Pennsylvania lathe warehouse, you know.
Well, it's pretty good setup, so we're doing well.
Okay, any other local club stuff?
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
a question for John. Tell me again, what's the timing for the Buchanan Park?
September 6th, Ron, at Buchanan Park, sometime between 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock is what Jeremy Gans told me we probably would be turning. I mean, we're going to set it up. I think it starts at 12, so it might be as early as 1 o'clock.
Okay, yeah, I've been over in the past. I thought we started in the morning, but anyway, I can try to make it over. You say around noontime or afternoon?
Yes, sometime after lunchtime. He suggested between 1 or 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock, but we're going to try to be ready pretty much, and because we don't even know what the setup is like, so we want to get there early to make sure that we have a level place for the lathe, we have the proper electricity, we have we'll have a tent over us. Hopefully it's not going to be inclement weather. If it is, I'm thinking we're probably not going to want to bring lathes and stuff like that out in the rain. So if it rains, I think I'm just going to say we're not going to do it. But if
Well,
it's
you
not,
could have a little show and tell table under the tent.
well, we could do a show and tell table. We just won't be bringing turning equipment out in the rain.
Yeah.
I'll try and make it over. I'm pretty certain I can make it.
That's great. Thank you, Ron.
Okay, there was a bunch of other people all trying to talk. I just remind you quickly, Mid-Atlantic is coming up. All of you are getting emails about the Mid-Atlantic. It's a great event. And yeah, if you can go, go. I will be going, I think. Okay, who else from clubs? Club news.
Quad State Bodgers meet the third Saturday of each month. That means this Saturday there will be a meeting, and they've got a very famous person coming in to do that presentation, myself. So, and I sort of copied something from the AAW. They have their articles called Beyond Thee, and that's what I'm doing, a Beyond the Spur. So I'm going to take it from the history of the spur on up to modern day and implement some handmade attachments for the lathe.
All right. Well, you're such a clever guy. I'm sure that's going to be a really good event. Nittany Valley, what do we got? Where were you, Nittany Valley? You're off for the summer, but you're still doing stuff.
Yeah, we're off for a summer. We haven't done anything at all. We usually do training with the Rivet. It's a makerspace, but they are buying new lathes and they haven't gotten them in yet. So we've been off the hook for training. So our next meeting is going to be September 3rd, and that's a Wednesday. And the topic will be show us what you turned this summer. So it's all show and tell for the whole meeting. And it's usually one of our more popular ones, so it works out real well.
And Nittany Valley is a state college, yeah?
Yeah, State College.
Which is up north of Harrisburg.
Yeah, if you put an X through Pennsylvania, we're right there. That's exactly where we are.
Okay. Any other clubs?
I guess we have Baltimore. Our meetings are always the second Wednesday of the month. Our September meeting is going to be a club member is going to demonstrate in-house a crotch section natural edge bolt. So we're kind of looking forward to that. And then we're going to finish out the year with some IRDs in, I guess, October. We have Roberto Ferrer is going to do some sculpting carving for us. And in November, Cindy Drozda is going to help us with burl selection and working on burl bowls.
All right. I love that we have so many club leaders represented here. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's go to hands. We got work to see.
John,
Oops. Yes.
just a quick note. Jim Duxbury is guest editor for the edition 412, which is the latest one of wood turning. He also has an article in that edition. I'm surprised he didn't strut his beans, but he has an article on spherical magic. So, Jim,
Okay.
you've been at it. I can see.
Thank you. Thank you. No
Hey,
end
John.
to the fun.
So
All
John,
right.
for the Edmonton Woodturners on this Saturday, I just put a link in the chat. We're doing a live interactive shop demo on small hollow forms and hiding the joint. So anyway, I just put a link in. I'm doing this Saturday morning at 10 o'clock Mountain Time.
Cool. Okay. It's good to see people doing stuff in the summer. I don't get much chance to be in the shop, what with everything else that has to go on this magnificent estate. I'm playing a trick on you today. I'm inside because it's wet out there. I am looking at the view, the scene that is on the screen. It's behind me, but in my real world, it's right in front of me. So there you go. Okay, let's go to hands. Unless there's any more. Did I miss anybody who really wants to talk? Okay. Dave Hudgel, I know you've been working on figuring out how to work your spotlight or share your screen. You got it worked out?
Well, we'll see. Bert and Don have been helping me, and hopefully we can make something work here.
Bingo.
You have a picture of a round piece.
We sure do. Good stuff.
Okay, this in the article in American Woodturner about John Kelsey, he mentioned Stephen Hogbin, and Stephen Hogbin lived and worked north of me along Highway 21 along the western shore of Lake Huron. And so I did this piece based on his work. It started out as a 24-inch cross section of a black walnut tree trunk. And I did coves and beads in the top layer, and then cut it in 1-inch strips, and then put it together in a funny way to make ripples. I call it ripples.
What's the finish?
I'm sorry?
Is that paint or dye, or what is going on there?
It's painted blue with some iridescent paint highlights.
So that's like a separate coat of dabbing that on?
Yes, I believe so. I can't remember.
How long ago did you make this?
3 or 4 months ago.
Okay.
This next one is on the same theme. It started out as a round circular cross section of a tree trunk, and this time I put coves and beads on both sides of the piece, and then cut it in 1-inch strips, and then put it together on this blue painted background. And Stephen Hogbin has done things like this, and it was a stimulus to do something like that.
He called them fragmentals.
Okay, good.
And he would take them apart like this and then arrange them in every way he could think of and take a picture of each arrangement and then go back to it and figure out what he's going to actually assemble and build out of the possibilities.
Yes, and I've always tried to dry these round pieces slowly to try to prevent them from cracking, which seems to me to be very hard to do. And so that's one cure. If you cut it up in pieces, it's not going to crack.
There you go.
And if anybody has any hints on how to dry a round piece, a cross section of a trunk, I'd like to know. What I figured out is just to put it in plastic bags and rotate the plastic bags every so often and dry it very slowly. But it still tends to crack at that point.
It almost has to because of the geometry of it, the way wood cells are arranged and how they shrink. There's almost no way to avoid it one way or the other.
Yeah, I've seen a few pieces, and I might have a couple that haven't cracked yet after 6 months. So, and Bert and Don wanted me to show you a few others if it's okay.
Sure, go for it.
Where's my arrow? This is a 16-inch diameter mulberry natural edge bowl that I made last year.
That's mulberry?
Mulberry, yes.
So you've had it a year now, right?
At least, yes.
Has it darkened up?
No, not much.
The mulberry I have darkens to a deep chocolate brown.
Really? No, this one hasn't. I don't know why.
What'd you finish it with, David?
What did I finish with?
Yeah, what'd you finish it with?
Probably. I can't.
I'm gonna guess Waterlox or something like that. A poly varnish.
Yeah, or it's the oil finish that doesn't have the oil in it.
Okay, it doesn't matter. So what are you turning these on? I mean, that's a big 16-inch piece. That's a pretty big piece of wood. Could you go back to that for a second? I'd like to ask you a little bit more about it. Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. Somebody's trying to call me.
I'm seeing all these flash by. This is a really nice portfolio of work. You know, all the ones that have flashed by, we should look at each of. And I would still like to know, what are you turning on and how long have you been turning and things like that?
I have a Viva Max lathe. It's a lathe from Belgium that I picked up when the AEW symposium was in St. Paul, I think in 2006 or 2007. And at that point, it was the only lathe I could find that had a rotatable headstock, and it had a lot of support because I like to do some off-center turning. So I bought that, and it's a great lathe. The only problem with it is that I don't like the tailstock very well. The swing on it is 12 inches or so, and I've also built a component to my lathe that has a gap in it so I can do big pieces if I pull the headstock all the way down to the end. So I've been turning for quite a while, but now that I'm retired 3 times, I can turn more.
Okay, now a piece like this that we're seeing, you're seeing what we are, right? A round piece that's got bark on, those that's turned into the face of the log.
The 2 eyes.
Yeah, and I see up there in the upper right and in the lower left where the end grain comes around, and it's really difficult to sand. And I wonder what your comment is about that. Do you sand it out anyhow, or do you leave it alone? What do you do?
I just leave it alone. If it falls off, I just take it off and finish it as is. I really do believe this theory that if you get wood that's felled in the winter, the bark tends to stay on versus in the summer. Because some of my pieces of the bark will really stay on, and others it comes off very easily. Some people use super glue, of course, to try to keep it on. I haven't done that much.
Well, the place where the bark separates is the cambium layer of cells that is actually the only living part of the tree trunk. That's where the new cells are emerge in both directions, new bark and new wood.
Right. So
John, your earlier question was very valid. A lot of us struggle with that. I struggle with that torn grain, and I wonder what you all do. I sharpen tools. Yeah. Anybody have secret there?
Reverse the lathe.
Yeah, that's what I do. I reverse the lathe very carefully.
Really?
very carefully
Okay.
with a little scraper, and I then go back on the other side so the grain's coming at me the other direction. That seems to take care of a lot of it.
Wow. Okay. That's possible in mine. Yeah.
You got to do it while it's still round. If you do it when it's not,
Yeah.
so.
And use the set screws in the chuck so it doesn't spin off on you. And if it spins off, don't try to catch the damn thing.
No, let it go bouncing. You'll be at the end, so it'll bounce right on past you, and your tool rest is your shield. What wood is this, David?
I think it's black walnut, but it had interesting grain pattern with the coloring in it.
Yeah, that's quite lovely.
Never back there. I'm sorry, here. There's my cantilever piece.
And how did you do that?
Well, it's offset. I put screws in the bottom through a piece of plywood that I have centered on a screw chuck or a faceplate. I'm sorry, and then I estimate where the center might be and turn a little bowl and then reposition it. And underneath on the part overhanging, it was light enough and that I could actually mount it like this, so it would sit on a table like this.
Do you use counterweights on that plate?
Sometimes, yes, I do. I just take a faceplate, a small faceplate, and position it, 180 degrees from the most part that sticks out the most, and hope that it balances it pretty good, usually pretty good. Otherwise, I have to turn pretty slow.
Yeah. Comments for David?
It's got bark on one end. Is that a burl? That's not a section of tree.
Yes, I think it is a burl. Yes, it's a burl.
Nice job.
Yeah, yeah.
How big is that, David? What's the size?
It's about 7 or 8 inches wide and 3 or 4 inches the other direction, and about 3 or 4 inches thick.
Huh. Beautiful little piece of wood.
That's another black walnut piece. Here's a set of 3 bowls that were cored out of the same black walnut piece. The larger one with a good show of the sapwood. This is the triangular bowl that I think I've shown you before, stimulated by Barbara Dill. There's a smaller one that's cherry. This is another multi-axis candle holder.
Glad to see you have a metal cup in there.
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
a big advocate of the metal cup in there. Once you put that candle in there and drink that last glass of wine and put your head down on the dining room table, and if you
Well, your candles burn a lot faster than mine do then.
well, it depends on what kind of fancy candle the ladies brought into the house, little cute little beeswax things. Man, they don't last long, but
This was a small urn I did made for a pet or so, and there's a crack in it that I filled with epoxy. The finial.
what is the wood again? It's okay.
Not sure. I think this is cedar.
Red cedar.
Yeah. Here's my crazy bowl.
Paint?
This is it was a very plain bowl, and I wanted to do something with it, so I did a acrylic pour paint. You pour different colors acrylic paint in a cup, and then you turned it over and poured it over it and let it dry.
So you poured the paint over the bowl. Some kind of oil involved or anything like that?
No, just acrylic paint over the raw wood.
Nice work. Nice try there. More than a try. Nice effort. Nice piece. Came out good. Did you put a top coat on it after it or anything like that?
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
It dry. It took a few days to dry, but then it's fine.
Next. Uh-huh.
And this is a Manitoba maple in epoxy resin bowl. It's about 8 inches in diameter, 8 by 4. And there's a platter with the same Manitoba maple in it. Very colorful Manitoba maple piece. And here's my pine cone bowl that I'm doing.
Do you do anything to the pine cones to stiffen them up, like coat them with shellac or anything?
That's one way to do it. Before I had a vacuum chamber, that's the way I did it, because any wood that you don't cover with shellac is going to put a lot of air bubbles in your epoxy if you don't coat it. But now that I have a vacuum chamber, I don't have to do that. You just put it in the epoxy and then turn on the vacuum chamber and suck out all the air, and then you're okay.
How do you coat a pine cone? Do you have to dip it?
Yeah, I just dipped it in a can of shellac, right?
Okay.
And let them dry overnight, and then they're ready to go. And here's a picture of it at night with the light in it.
Oh, I love that.
Did you put the whole thing in the vacuum chamber with the wood and everything before it's set up?
Yes. Yes. And then my first try in the vacuum chamber, I had a piece that I left in there to cure, and it got so hot in the vacuum chamber that the thing expanded with all kinds of air in it. And so that didn't work. So you've got to take the top off the vacuum chamber or take it out of the vacuum chamber to let it cure for the 3 days it takes the deep epoxy to cure.
How did you light that?
One of those electric candles inside.
Oh, okay.
One of those birthday candles.
Beautiful
So that's
picture.
it. I appreciate you all wanting to see that, and it was an honor to show.
Well, thank you very much. Now let's have to, that's your last slide. I'm going to end your share.
Oh,
Oops, one more. Oops. No, I lost it. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't cut you off too soon there. I thought you were done.
This is a
Okay.
spalted maple with a.
Sorry, we don't have the share anymore. I mistakenly cut you off there. I thought you were done.
That's okay. Go ahead. That's
Okay.
fine. I can show that next week or something.
All right, that'd be great. I'm going to go to Dianne Ross. We haven't heard from Dianne in a long time. What would you like to show us today, Dianne?
I'm trying to get my mute off. Okay. I actually about 3 or 4 weeks ago, when John Ziegler brought his walnut bowl with the wings on it, I was going to ask how to finish this bowl, because I'd gotten the top part done and I couldn't, well, I didn't know how, basically, because I've never done a bowl this big before. I didn't know how to get down into the bottom and make it more even. So John said, make sure your tools are sharp. I think he said, slow your lathe down and just go slowly and have lots of patience. So that's what I did. I slowed it down, and I was able to make a fairly even wall, and the bottom's fairly even. It's a little bit thicker than I wanted it at first, but I really like the feel of it now. So
I always find with a bowl like that the bottom is always thicker than I thought it was going to be.
that's what I found. And yet, okay, so Jim, I just didn't want to make a funnel. So that's always my you
There is
almost
that.
always want you
Welcome to
always want it a little bit thick at the bottom so that you avoid the funnel. And I'd watched you had an interview with David Ellsworth, and he was doing green bowls. So I was turning this on a fairly hot day, and it was green, not dry birch. And so I had a little cloth and I was keeping it wet. So this is my first bowl. And so this is the second one. Both of them are birch. This one's a little thinner, and I was better able to use my technique. It's a little thinner overall, and yet kind of like the shape, the shape and feel of this one. This one better than that, but they're both really nice.
Hold them both up side by side so we can see the two silhouettes.
Okay.
A little closer together. Yeah, there. Oh, that's perfect. Lift. All right. Nice shapes, good curves.
With the one on your right, my left, I would like the rim to go in a little bit more. Like this one goes in a little bit at the top, whereas this one is, well, and I have to say with this one, I got it all ready, had it on my chuck, and promptly knocked it off the lathe, and buggered up the foot, so I had to redo it. So maybe I didn't spend as much time on the outside, bringing the inside lip in just a bit, so it has just a bit nicer lip. But anyways, I'm pretty happy with them. I still have to sign them.
That's pretty remarkable figure. That figure, the color and the wood there is pretty remarkable on the outside of that second one, the smaller one especially.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just yeah. There, those patches of color. That's really a beautiful effect.
And that's the birch. If it sits around for any length of time here, it will get spalted, and it disintegrates fairly quickly. So you have to keep it up off the ground and dry, which I didn't, and so that's why it turned out the way it did. But I have to say,
I think the second bowl. Go ahead.
I was going to say thanks to John Ziegler, because it was your comments that helped. Because I brought this one and I didn't know how to finish it, and then your comments really helped me focus and do the inside of the bowl that much better. So thank you very much.
I don't remember if I said turn slowly or take it slowly, because especially on that winged bowl that I made, I was spinning it as quickly as I could, because that way the wood comes around more quickly and I'm less likely to get ridges on the wings. But I think the key was taking it slowly, take very light cuts, and make sure the tools are extremely sharp. Because I used to not recognize or appreciate the importance of a really sharp tool. And then because of this forum, primarily, I started really taking more care, and it's kind of remarkable what a sharp tool can do.
Where is that?
But it was afterwards I realized that you probably didn't say slow the lathe down, but I think the message was slow down and make sure your tool's sharp and take your time making.
That is Mike Darlow's message: slow the lathe down. That's what he does. And make the cut infinitely slowly, and then don't sand. That's where Mike Darlow has got to in his evolution, but he's one of the most accomplished turners in the world. But anyway, slow the lathe down and slow you down.
Yeah.
Dianne, was the little tiny feet my bias? Were they chosen originally, or is that just because of the size of your chuck that you grabbed it with? Did you want them that small?
I have one chuck, and it has one set of jaws. So everything is about 2 inches at the bottom. I don't know what I'm going to do if I make bigger bowls, so I might have to get another chuck. But at this point, I've mastered the size of this foot.
It's possible to turn one on a 2-inch chuck and still has a wider foot. You can do that. Think of that as a challenge. So.
Thank you.
Someone else was trying to talk and got talked over. Who was that?
Yeah, that was me. I was going to say that the second bowl looks more like a popcorn bowl to me. So I think it's perfect.
Good point.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Dianne. Let me see. Stewart Furini, I haven't heard from you in a bit. You're coming to the States soon, or did you already do that? I lost track.
Yes, hi. Already done that. That was
Uh,
back in June, and then a week up in Canada, visiting Sherry actually, and a few other Canadian turners. It was a really good experience. Yeah, wonderful, very exciting. So I wanted to show you some laser engraved work that I've been doing. In the box behind me, you might just see something moving backwards and forwards. I've built a little case for it so I can keep all the fumes there and pump them outside. Um, so where I want to go? So these are some little
wow.
playing arounds that I've done. I've tried to find ways to use the laser in a way that is a bit beyond the sort of more than craft level, where people make coasters and plaques and things. And
Is, is
it's a
Janet
cliche.
Collins? Is Janet Collins on here today? That looks like a Janet Collins plate.
Oh right, I don't know Janet Collins. I have to
Oh,
look
she's
her
a
up.
very fine turner who's lives in our area. She comes here sometimes. Yeah.
Oh right. Yeah, this what the learning curve on the software and everything is pretty huge. But this was
Well,
just a
just a
little
sec now.
try.
You laser burn the black lines and the circles, and then where's the color coming from?
Yeah, and the color on this one is actually with alcohol pens, little felt tips. So I sat in the garden and colored it in like I was a 5-year-old kid again. It
And
was
then do you put a finish over top of that, or is that the final finish?
well, this is it's got a few mistakes. I managed to burn a triangle and a circle here, and it was a blank that's been used a few times before. So it's just an experiment. But if I were going to finish it, I'd probably go with I'd probably go with either a satin acrylic or possibly a polyurethane um, over the top. To after I've sealed it, I need to seal the alcohol pens in.
What would seal the alcohol pens in? What would you use for that?
I use an acrylic sanding sealer that we've got over here in the UK. Um, because I do a
Okay.
lot of work with stains, I've just found that spraying it on is better than
Yeah.
wiping it off with a brush and moving all
Okay.
the color around. Yeah, so this was just, learning how to use the software and play around and then trying to do
So,
things that
Stuart,
yeah.
Stuart, before you get on, did you what was the simple process for creating that drawing first? Did you draw it and then scan it, or did you use software to draw all the lines and circles, or what?
Okay, for this one, it was using software, a piece of software called Lightburn. And so everything was drawn on that program, and it was
Honest.
it's kind of how I wanted to find a way that works how I work in the analog, hands-on way. So
Yeah.
so I've got
Yeah.
something here that I've done with my routing jig, and I just put this on the lathe, and I start off by cutting where lines going that way, and then I come back and do other lines, and then I come back and nibble little corners away. I don't design it to begin with. I find that a bit of a blockage actually. So with this, I just thought, well, you've got this laser machine, find a way that works for you. So I worked in the same way. So I made the big circles, drew them, and then it burned them on. Then I put the smaller circles inside, and then the dots. Then I joined them up, and then I put these funny little two dark circles and a line, just to play around. I mean, if I were to do this again, I'd probably want to have a little bit more thought where I put lines and things. But it was just
But
learning how the program works.
but you didn't take that plate out of the machine in between any of those stages, right? It's in there, mounted and held and moved around by the
Yeah,
table or whatever's going on.
it's just held. It just put it on the base. Oops,
Oh,
put it on
Right,
the base of the.
held like that. Yeah.
Good job. It's not crockery. That's the advantage of decorating things, isn't it?
Welcome to my shop. Everything has to visit the floor before it gets finished. It can't possibly be any other way.
oh no, again.
Oh well, there we go. It's a demo piece. It doesn't matter. Now the piece I wanted to show you is now right under the lathe. I might be able to reach it. Hang on.
I'm sorry. I encouraged that. I didn't mean to.
Ah, there we go. Yep.
All right.
Yeah. So I've also used it to do piercing, and these were just little patterns I drew by hand, and then burned through a rather thin a thin rim. I want to find something that isn't cheating, but who knows?
So now the plate is thin before you burn it. You don't burn it and then make the plate thinner until the burning pops through.
No, that was that I turned it thin and then just put it on the base of the burner, and I just drew these shapes on a piece of paper, and then scanned that in, or you could do it from a photo. And then I've tried various colors and pyrography over the top. It's probably getting in the way of it. But what I like is the ability to cut really very close, which would be very hard by hand around here where my thumb is. You know, some of the gaps in those little tiny bits of wood holding each other together are about less than a millimeter. But then I wanted to explore the idea of cutting in different layers. So I'll just zoom in. So I made this, got sawdust in it, made these little, I call them little lozenges. It'll focus in a moment. So you can see how big they are with my finger there for scale. But they're burnt. One layer burns the shape, the outside shape. Then the next layer leaves these thicker lines behind. So that's a second layer of burning. Third layer of burning leaves these very thin lines behind. And then the fourth layer, right at the bottom, in this one, every single one of those dots I had to draw on the screen. So it was a case of then the last one, finding something at the bottom rather than just having a smooth bottom. You can get brushes with little textures in, as that's what's in this one and in this one. But I took it into my daughter and showed her, and I said, which one's the best one? And of course she said, this one, which I think is the best one too, but it's the one that takes the most work. Because they're all different sizes, and I drew them by hand. So I then went ahead and did this more ambitious burn. Which I am plucking up the courage to colour. But you can see I burnt these at quite deep. If I hold that round, you can see the different depths. And I think it needs something. It can't just be left like this. So I'm going to do some colour. I had a go at experimenting. This is exactly the same pattern, but not burnt as deep. Only maybe a couple of millimeters deep, and then got up very close with an airbrush. At the moment, the winning color combination is this one, but I could be convinced of this one or of this one if anyone wants to chip in. And then the advantage, of course, is that you can keep your designs and make them again in different color schemes. But I mean, this one, if you look at all of these lozenges, every single one is completely different. They're all unique, and it took me hours to draw them in. So part of my learning curve is finding ways that are a little bit more speedy at getting the job done.
So when you color those, you're coloring with what? Dyes, pigments, paints, what?
I used airbrush paints. Yeah.
Little mouth airbrush?
No, a little gravity-fed airbrush.
Uh-huh.
And then now I'm getting on to trying to find other ways of putting patterns around the edges of rims. So here's one that's been cut with lines. You can see they go quite deep. I put my finger in there. Down.
And that's all laser burned.
That's all laser burned. Yep.
What's the wattage?
How many watts in your laser, do you know?
Oh, okay. I'm getting a bit of echo. I don't know what's going on. Maybe that's my phone. Hang on. I know what it is. The power I've got in my laser is a 20 watts. It's a 20 watt laser. I could do with one a bit more powerful, I think now, but I should stick with this. But just to give you some idea of the time frame, I've got another one of these burning now. It takes 3.5 hours to burn it. And I've just looked in the cover. I can show you it's at work at the moment, burning it away. But if you look at about that blank. If you look at about 2 o'clock as the head moves away, you can see I didn't resize the design properly, and it's a reject. One of the little lozenges is burnt through the edge. I meet adversity with a chuckle rather than a curse. I find it helps my mental health much no end. But it's a bit of an addictive activity. Here's another little one that I've done with just burning. I burnt these channels in, and then what I really like, probably more than the laser, is putting on the color by hand and some pyrography by hand. That's what I really probably enjoy more. I want to find ways of combining the laser with doing both.
Are these meant to sit flat on a table or hang on a wall, or what? How do you see these being in somebody's collection?
I currently have no idea. I think this one is probably a little bowl. I mean, this one I have turned everything, turned it back. And so this would be just a little knick-knack bowl, you know, for your diamond ring or a couple of Maltesers.
Yeah, or your broken balloons or something.
Broken balloon, yeah.
Yeah.
But just to prove I don't ruin everything with colour, my egg cups have vanished in the house and no one's talking. Someone's done something with them. But I thought, Stuart, you know how to wood turn, so I made myself 2 lovely little cherry egg cups this morning. I'm looking forward to breakfast tomorrow.
Very, very nice.
I would never colour these. This is lovely, isn't it? Beautiful cherry wood. There we go. Thank you.
Any questions for Stuart?
Yeah, Stuart, could you explain the concept of an egg cup? That's a kind of a foreign concept here in America.
The concept of an egg cup.
What would you use it for?
I would boil an egg and put my egg in there.
Okay.
So yeah.
And then he'd hack the top of the egg off with a table knife and go at it with a spoon. Is that right?
Well, yeah, my wife hacks it off with a knife, but I'm more skillful. I can do it with a teaspoon. But there, in Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels, there's a big war in one of the countries Gulliver visits because there's this argument about whether you should open your boiled egg at the big end or the little end.
Oh.
Well, I always put the little end in first, so the yolk's closer to the top when I crack it, and then I dip my soldiers in the yolk. So
I do it exactly the other way around.
Do you use a spoon or soldiers?
What did you say,
do you use a spoon or soldiers?
Soldiers, yeah, soldiers. Slice of toast cut into thin slices so you can dip them in. I told you I'm a 5-year-old.
Any more comments for Stuart? Thank you very much, Stuart. Good to see you.
Thanks.
David Bell. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Just do the share. I've been out in the teapot. There we are.
Huh. Is that also laser burned or something like that?
No, that's all done by hand.
With what, like a little dentist drill?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's all burned by hand with a wood burner, and the lines around the outside are done while it's still on the lathe. I use Formica to put those lines in. I use a small tool to make the little mark, and then I go at it with the Formica, and then after that everything's colored in after the burning.
Do you leave it on the lathe as a work holder, or do you take it off the lathe for a lot of this?
I actually have one of the jigs for putting in my tool post on my banjo, and I hold the piece there and go about my business of doing all the burning. So each, just so you have an idea of time, each ring takes approximately 10 minutes to burn it.
So you got 2 or 3 hours in that?
Yeah, just a few hours. Yeah. Yeah.
Questions for David?
And the iridescent paint I put on at the end was like a purple, and I thought it was only fitting to use Purple Heart for most of the handle, the spout, the lid, the base, And then just something a little different, the lid for the top piece for the lid, just a piece of burl, maple burl.
Comments or questions?
You just do random design, or have you plotted the layout of the design of each ring?
So each ring, I was influenced by Elia Becerra doing the burning of rings with the Formica, and just like, you know what, I'm going to put a bunch of rings around this and then just come up with a design as I go, right? There was no real plan to it. And I've been playing around with different wood burning tips. I have round ball tips. I have square burning tips, things like that. And you notice some of the squares they're random, right? They're not perfectly centered, and so to speak, right? So
how hollow is the teapot?
The wall thickness is probably 3/16.
And does the spout go in? So like one could theoretically put a theoretical tea in it.
No, I didn't do that on this one. If I do a hole through it, I have to actually go to a bigger diameter. So it's just a 1/4-inch tenon on the end of the handle and the spout. And then there's a 1/4-inch hole in the end of the spout, but it doesn't go all the way through, right?
It go through. So, okay.
Yeah.
Theoretical teapot, visual teapot.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, some I put a hole through, some I don't. I just, whatever I feel.
Comments or questions? Any more pictures?
No, just a few different photos of the different angles. That's about it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for ending that. Ziegler.
Okay, a while ago, Toby and I went to Groff and Groff's, and he picked out 3 large cherry burls and promptly offloaded one into my shop, where we started to attack it and then couldn't get back to it for another week and a half, or until another week and a half ago. So they were sitting in my shop for probably 3 months. I had some long screws through the faceplate. Angelo was not happy with the length of the screws. He goes, well, you're going to have to remember those screws are there when you're turning the base, when you go through. Well, I promptly went little tiny screw holes in the base of the bowl. So I'm working on trying to figure out how to deal with that. But in the process, there was an offcut of the cherry burl. So I did manage to turn this piece.
Okay, you're coming in and out of view with your blurred background. Get it more in front of you.
Yeah.
And closer to you. Move it closer to your face so that the camera sees it in the same plane as you.
I'm just going to get rid of my background.
That'll help.
Yeah. None. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, the room is more attractive than that background anyhow.
There you go. So anyhow, it's not particularly thin, maybe 1/4 inch at the top and maybe a little thicker at the bottom.
Hey, John, turn your burr off on the background as well.
Blur.
I mean your blur. I said burr. I meant blur.
I hear you. Well, I don't have it set.
Yes, you did. Oh, blur. You did. Okay.
Right. That's just this kind. That's just the light in there. It's the lighting is low.
Yeah. If I pull the shade, if I pull the shade, it would be better.
Yeah. Well, that's good the way it is. But now we can see it. Now hold it sideways so we can see the side profile. All right. So you managed to turn the foot off without knocking the bark off. That's pretty good.
Well, I did a lot of CA with the bark to make sure it stayed on. And then because I didn't have a good way to chuck it, I mean, I could have used the pressure chuck, not a jam chuck, but like a pressure chuck on the foot, but I ended up cheating and just sanded it off and approximated a round bottom.
Pretty nice.
So in the process, as I did that, I'm thinking about how I can try to salvage the larger bowl that Angelo and I were working on. I'm a little embarrassed that I totally forgot about the screws. So I'm messing with it. I'm not sure what I'll get.
Welcome to the Funnel Club.
Oh yeah. So before I forget, we talked briefly about Dave Landers doing his reverse hollowing or upside down hollowing, and Jim was asking about. Well, he's pretty sure he could tell that the bottom was a plug, but I don't think anybody can tell that there's a plug there.
No, I don't think you can. That's exactly the way to hide it. There's no way you can tell when that's done correctly.
No, I mean, he has a little tiny hole here to make everybody think he hollowed it from the top, when he actually hollowed it from the bottom and then put the plug in.
Yeah.
I suggested to him that he ought to put a few coins in there and tell people it's a piggy bank, and they try to figure out, well, how the hell do you get them in?
Exactly.
Hey, John, on your screw holes, just use pegs and make it part of a design. Drill more holes and make like a design the whole way around. Look, this is from the Funnel Club side, teaching you how to fix them up. So
well, I'm sort of trying to do that, Jim. What I thought I would do is turn 3 concentric circles in the bottom, like with the parting tool, and then fill it with black CA glue.
Yep.
Well, the CA glue looks like hell. It's not totally black. It's running all over the place. So I'm going to turn that off and use Milliput or something like that.
Use the black CA with baking soda. It'll change it completely.
Will it really? Well, I have to turn this stuff off first because it's a real mess right now.
It'll look like ebony if you do it that way. It'll look like ebony.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for. I realize it ruined the bottom of the burl because it's a beautiful piece. It was.
Turn a square bottom groove, fill it with baking soda, and then put the CA on it, and let the CA soak into that, and it'll cure the CA, and it'll. I know that's a medium, the dark black CA, isn't it, or is it thick? It would be better if it was thin.
I have medium black, and medium thick black and medium black.
Well, it'd be worth experimenting with. It might work or might not.
Yeah, well, when I have some time, I'll get back on the lathe and turn what's there off, smooth it out again, and I'll probably have to reroute three channels. I really didn't want to mess up the bottom of the bowl because that's where some of the really nice burl wood is, but it is what it is, so I'll see what I can do. And then I got to figure out what to do on the backside because there's 6 big holes there. So,
hey, John, I'm curious about this cherry burl. I usually avoid cherry burl because it usually has such massive inclusions and voids. And I'm wondering how big this section was and how you didn't get caught up in that.
I have no clue. It's the only time. These are the 2 first pieces of burl that I've turned, and I loved working with it. It was fun to see what gets exposed. I wish that I had a coring system so I could save the inside of the damn bowl.
So where did you get these burls? The Groff and Groff?
They had like 6 or 8. They range from gigantic to probably 12 to 18 inches across. At Groff and Groff. So I'm going to go back down there and see if they happen to have any now because I'm getting hooked on these burls. I was going to dye them like Toby, but I didn't want to mess it up farther yet because I haven't experimented with the dyes yet. So I left it natural color and just put Odie's oil on it. But
so you said you were there with Angelo, right? Did Angelo help you choose it? I mean, did he have any comments on which one? No?
Well, no. Angelo is such a funny guy. I thought he was buying them for himself. So he picked out 3 burls, small, medium, and large. And we put them in the back of my truck and brought them back here. And when we were putting them into his truck, he says, well, just take that one into your shop. That was the free one. Well, there was no free one because I was there. He paid for it, but he was helping me, figure out how to turn a piece of burl. So, he was helping me out. And then I let him down because I forgot I put the damn screw holes in the bottom.
Hey, John, you mentioned about a coring system. I cored 2 walnut bowls, 14-inch walnut bowls yesterday in about 45 minutes. If you want to core, bring them over. I'll do them for you.
What do you use?
I have a one-way coring on a Powermatic.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll take you up on that, Ron. I was looking for the McNaughton system, and I cannot find. The only place I found a new set of McNaughton, like whatever size you want, came out of Australia with over $200 shipping charge. And I can't find anything except 2 old ones online, one on Craigslist and one on eBay. That's the only thing I can find. Nobody else has them. I don't know. I guess maybe they stopped making them.
I have all 4 sets of knives that go from up to a 18-inch coring. I can do them all.
On the one way.
On a Powermatic.
No, but I mean, you have the one-way system.
I have the one-way, the coring system.
Yeah. I was looking for McNaughton. I know that the McNaughton is a little fussier because it's more flexible, but it's also more difficult. I figured I'd give it a shot. Angelo has the McNaughton. He also offered to let me see if I even like him. The thing is, you can't. I don't know how to buy a damn one anymore. There's other coring systems that are available, but I was looking for that one. We'll see what.
Definitely has a bigger learning curve. Mike Mahoney usually pushes it. I would try and contact him if you're looking for a source. I'm sure he would know.
Well, it's funny you say that, Bruce, because I was looking at his video on using the McNaughton, and he's a damn expert, of course. He turns really thin cores. So I figured I was going to get in touch with Mike just to see if he has a source for that.
I confess that my first experience with that system was with Mike looking over my shoulder, and I went right through the bottom.
Well, of course.
John, this is Sherry. I have a complete set of the McNaughton stuff, and I don't know how to use it, nor do I plan to really learn how to use it. So I don't know how I'd get it to you, but.
Well, I'd love to take a trip to Alberta. I don't think that's
cross-border traffic has not stopped. Trucks still go and carry packages.
Well, Sherry, if you're interested in selling it, I'd be interested in talking to you.
Off the call, you need to do that. We're going to wrap up now, except somebody's. Doug, are you busting in?
I'm trying to bust in, John. You're crazy, going from the McNaughton. I'm sorry, I used Doug's and I hated it. So
no kidding.
I would say good luck to you, but not me. So
I would say the ply is
awesome. The McNaughton system is an awesome tool. It's a learning curve, but boy, once you get it, it's like riding a bike. You'll love it because you have so much flexibility.
I would say the play for you is since we got such rich resources around here, go to the guys' shops, visit different shops, and try the different systems. You will find people will like to show you what works for them. And where we are, you could be able to try everything within an hour drive of your house, and then buy it.
Yeah, you're probably right. So Sherry, how do I get in touch with you if I want to follow up?
Well, we've got her contact info. She's a club member.
Is she on? I didn't even realize you were on the list.
I'll shoot you a note offline here.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Well, thanks everybody.
Okay. Toby, we'll lead off with you next week. Is that okay with you? Give me a thumbs up. I can't hear you. Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all. Very entertaining hour. See you all next week.
Very interesting. Some wonderful stuff today.
Yep.
Remarkable group of people.
Wood shop. Thank God for wood.